Morning, everyone. So today I'm here to tell you about the poem Keeping Quiet. It's a revision lecture. We've done it before. So let's try and understand it once again. So Keeping Quiet is a peace poem. It talks about peace and tranquility and nice good time in the world. Written by Chilean poet Pablo Neruda. The poet asks humanity to count the numbers from 1 to 12, 12 being the number of hours shown in the clock or the number of zodiac signs. He requests everyone not to speak because languages create barriers between people. The moment when everyone stops moving their body will be very special and different, as we have never experienced such a moment before. The poet says that in the period of inactivity, the fishermen would harm the whales. The salt gatherers would not hurt their hands. Those who are busy destroying nature will adopt new approach towards life. The men who are preparing for wars and victory based on deaths of innocent people will join their enemy and stand in the unity with them, doing nothing. No one will harm himself or any other person. Everyone will unite and ponder upon his acts and realize the results of his deeds, the misdeeds, the wrongdoings. The poet clarifies this idea and says further that he does not want the people should stand idle, doing nothing, that is. He wants that there should be no war because he does not want to see trucks laden with dead bodies of the soldiers. He is promoting universal brotherhood and peace. The poet wants peace everywhere. He wants universal brotherhood. Everybody should live together in unison, happily. The poet says that everyone is working continuously to achieve one's goals. People are threatened by death, and fear forces them to work endlessly so that they can achieve everything quickly. Is in this mad rush, they do not realize the repercussions of their acts, what they are doing against nature. That is, he wants to pause for a moment and come out of this mad rush. How can you come out of this mad rush? By pausing for a moment. He wants to be us to be happy of our achievements and celebrate them. He wants us to overcome the fear of death and to relax for a while. We should know the results of our deeds and celebrate our achievements. To celebrate our achievements is most important. We are not celebrating our achievements, that's why we are sad. We have to celebrate our achievements and overcome our problems and live with better life, better standards, in a better way. When the people will remain quiet for a while, they will realize the purpose of their lives. Just like all the creations of nature undergo a rebirth with the change of season, similarly, keeping quiet is a rebirth of human soul. It will give a new meaning to our life. Again, the poet says that he will count till 12 and asks everyone to remain quiet when he leaves. We'll do line by line explanation and try to understand the poem carefully. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. The poet asks everyone to count to 12 in the mind. The number 12 represents the hours of the day, month of the year. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. He wants all of us to keep calm and still and speak in no language because language creates barriers. When we speak in different languages, what we do is we create barriers among ourselves. So we have to overcome these barriers by keeping quiet. Silence. The language of silence should be spoken. The language of silence is very important. When we are silent, we are able to convince the other person in a very good way. Not always. Sometimes when we are in distress. So we should not speak in any language. Let's stop for once again and not move our arms so much. This will bring unity among all the humans on the face of the earth when we don't speak in any language. For at least one moment, one should not move his arms either to signal or to fight or to argue with each other. Arms over here is a pun intended. Because arms over here means the arms, our arms which are moving to signal or fight against each other, to argue each other, or the weapons, the arms which we are using to kill each other, enemies. So arm is a pun intended here. This is the first stanza. The poet here requests everyone to count to 12 in their own mind and to stop for a while. Maybe this 12 referred to by the poet is the 12 hours of the clock or the 12 months of the year. He wants everyone to stop and calm down. The poet urges everyone to speak in not to speak in any language, as we all know that there are different languages spoken in different world, and these languages create barriers. We don't want any barrier to disrupt our unity. We want everybody united together for one cause, that is peace, universal peace. He asks people not to speak. Not only this, he also wants us to stop moving our arms. By using the word arms, he means the weapons which we are using, which the different countries are using to raise a war against each other. So basically, the poet is demanding peace from all of us. The first stanza talks about peace and universal brotherhood. And the literary devices used are assonance. The vowel sounds O-N-E. Now we all count to 12, not move our arms so much. O-N-E again and again repeated. And anaphora, the lines start with the word let's. Let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second. I am the man, the machine, the power. I am, I am, I am. This is anaphora used. Similarly, the anaphora used here. Alliteration, the repetition of consonant sound, and two more closely placed words, we, will, were, and were. And of course, the pun used for arms. The pun used for arms. Second stanza. It would be an exotic moment. Exotic, extremely strange, extremely beautiful, extremely unimaginable. Without rush, without engines, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. I have to go very far to explain all this. The current scenario of the world is exactly exotic. We have faced this sudden strangeness of everything stopping in lockdowns. Everything is stopped. The nature is erupting. Everything is stopped. Nothing is moving. Everybody is peaceful, happy at home. Some are unhappy. Some are sad. Some are diseased, some are trying to cure. But the basic thing is everybody is in, and there is a lockdown, sudden strangeness. Nobody ever imagined that this would happen. That's why it is an exotic moment. Because we never thought, we never imagined, we never ever could think in the wildest of the dreams that the world will come to a standstill, and one little corona or whatever is the word, allegorical word for this, fine, metaphorical word for this, has put us in a state of disorder, and that state of disorder can be termed as exotic because it is strange, unimaginable. We could have never thought about it. So that thing has happened to us. Everything will come to a standstill. It will be a rare situation. Not rare for us now. It's been 2 months. We have been facing it. No one will be in a rush. There will be no engines running. Everyone will be calm and quiet, united with each other in a strange atmosphere. It will be strange because it has never happened earlier. No person would be harming any other living being either for food or earning his livelihood. Fishermen in cold sea would not harm whales. Metaphorically, it means no one would be harming any creature for hunting, for living livelihood, or for any materialistic use. Would not harm whales, and man gathering salt would look at their hurt hands. All the people who work endlessly will get some time to look at their injuries and damage they have caused to their body. We keep working endlessly to fulfill the deadlines, to fulfill the aims, but we don't realize what is happening to our body, but we don't realize what is happening to the nature. We keep building roads in the term of development. We don't understand this is a mean way of human beings to develop, destroying nature. But when we stop, when we pause, when we think, when we introspect, we understand that this actually is harming us. And this is a big era of introspection when we are trying to see, look beyond, look within, and see what we are doing. That is what the poet Pablo Neruda is explaining us. Poet says that it would be a rare situation when there will be no engines working. Here he wants to say that if everything comes to a standstill, it will be a very different moment. If all the engines, like the vehicles and machines, stop, then there will be a sudden strange situation in the world, which will be experienced as sudden calmness. People will not be in a rush to achieve material things one after another. We are not in a rush to buy things. We have not bought dresses for ourselves. We have not bought heavily expensive mobiles for ourselves. We haven't bought expensive things for ourselves. The perfumes are not used. A lot of things are not being used. Luxury items are not being eaten. Pizzas are long a distant dream now. We are making our own food, simple living. High thinking is our motto of our life these days. The poet wants us to do the same. Further, the poet says that the fishermen will also stop and not harm the whales in the sea. Whales metaphorically represent the creatures which are being killed for and exploited for our petty use, petty interests, materialism. Further, the poet says that fishermen will not harm whales. Protein-hungry world is killing fish. This means the poet is urging everyone to not to harm animals. Here he gives us the example of whales which is being hunted for the purpose of food or trade. He also wants people to calm down so that they can stop, see what they have achieved or lost. For this, he gives us an example of a man who is gathering salt, whose hands are hurt. Here he wants everyone to stop for a while in order to see and feel their achievements and how much they have lost for the sake of attaining such materialistic things. What we have lost, we have to understand what we have lost in order to gain materialism, in order to gain what we have gained, what we have lost. In other words, in terms of development, to get that 8-lane highway made, what we have lost 3 lakh trees. We have lost the beautiful, wonderful, salubrious temperature, weather, climate of APS Dakshai, Solan district, Himachal. The slow line has gone up. We using fans and ACs these days here. It was a beautiful time long ago. We used to wear blazers and cardigans. We are not wearing it. Summer has set in. That is what we have lost in pursuit of development. This is hoax of a development, I'm telling you, because this has catered to loss of so many things. So many things. Materialism is killing us. Literary devices uses alliteration for his hurt hands, be wood, sudden strangeness, the sounds his hurt hands, h, her sound is repeated. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, will put on clean clothes. The poor people who exploit the green, the wealth of the nature by deforestation, mining, or fishing in the deep seas, and the soldiers who use weapons to kill the fellow human beings need some time to introspect into consequences of their actions. They are merely doing the job or following orders. When you are merely doing your job and following your orders, not thinking, you are doing no service to humanity. The poet wants us to do service to humanity. Think for a while what we are doing. Think before you do. And walk about with the brothers in the shade doing nothing. We put on clean clothes. Walk with the brothers in shade doing nothing. Shade. He wants us to put in new clothes, adopt new approach towards life, a healthy approach towards life, and to realize that killing so many people is not victory. It is not victory. He wants all of us to be united as one. Consider our enemy to be our brother. He's promoting brotherhood, peace, and unity. He does not want us to stop and our work, but to take some time and analyze the result of our deeds. He doesn't want us to stop forever now. Chalo. Now somebody has said something, now we are not going to do something. Fine, we are not going to do anything now. We will be starving. Lockdown means at home, doing nothing. Doesn't it mean that? We have to work from home. We have to take our country to a different world, to a different horizon, to a different zenith. Fine. We have to take our world to a different, height, How can we achieve this? Slowing down our working speed because of the times, but not stopping. Be afraid of stopping, not afraid of going slowly. Remember, you should be afraid of stopping. You should not be afraid of going slowly. Going slowly is all right. Sometimes you have to go slowly, sometimes you have to move fast. This is life. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity, the poet says. Exactly same the poet says. He wants us to stop only those things which are damaging, not everything. Damaging for the environment, for the nature, for us. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. The poet asks everyone to stop those activities which are damaging the environment. Today, all the human beings are making money by damaging the environment with their activities such as mining, deforestation, letting the chemical waste into rivers. The poet asks us not to do so. He also requests people not to involve in wars. There is no benefit of achieving such victory in which no one is left alive. When no one is left alive, what victory is he achieving? He says so because wars and environmental damage will lead to no life on earth. Dinosaurs will come again. There will be an ice age once again. Rather, he wants people to adopt new approach towards life and mankind. We have to live with this problem. How are we going to live with this problem? Devising new ways of doing things. He says that you should treat your enemy like brothers and promote peace and harmony in the world. How can we achieve it? By understanding humanity is the biggest religion. Humanity is the biggest order in the world. I am sorry. Humanity and religion is the biggest disorder in the world today. We have to shun that practice and understand humanity is the only religion. And this is the only order in the world. Nothing else will remain except we humans. If we are able to survive, we need to survive these difficult times. That's what the poet is urging. He urged it long ago. It's coming true today in 2020. Alliteration used with words with the sound is repeated. Clean clothes sound is repeated. And assonance is used with vowel o. Victory with no survivors. Put on clean clothes and walk with our brothers. O sound is repeated again and again. Repetition of use war. War is repeated again, telling us the impact of war again and again on humanity. The fourth stanza. If we were so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, for once we could perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves, of threatening ourselves with death. All human beings work endlessly with the aim of completing all their tasks. They are driven by the target of survival and the threat of death. They are in a mad rush to accomplish all their works. He says that perhaps if they pause for a while, they can appreciate their achievements and their lives would become happier. He suggests that keeping quiet, we will be able to understand the true purpose of our life, to achieve, to understand achievements, to be happy about our achievements. What we have gained, learn that. Not having a single minded approach towards development. Keep moving. We are not going to look back. That person doesn't flourish. They will perish. Such world will perish. Such thought will perish. We have to look beyond. Look within. This is called introspection. Introspection is needed. This will dispel all sadness from our lives because this sadness propels us to death. Now the poet wants us to clarify his readers when he asks them to stop for saying doing nothing. He doesn't want anyone to be non-active person. No tuck with that. He's not becoming a non-active person. Non-active person is who remains idle and does not do anything. Here he simply means that we should stop and see the consequences of our deeds, understands the things, reason, rhyme, fact, and then act accordingly. The poet doesn't want to see people killed for the greed of the money, expansion of territories. Further, he says that people are continuously working to achieve their tasks without even thinking about their results. They are in fear of death and therefore want to achieve most of the things before their death. Achieve for whom? Nobody knows. They want to achieve us. Mad race of achievement. Mad race of this materialistic approach to life has to be culled down now. Here he urges them to stop for a while and take some moment to relish on what they have achieved till now. Relish the achievements. Enjoy yourself. Everyone here is living the life which he wants to achieve various things one after another. But now the poet says that time to stop and see what has been achieved and enjoy those things. This will help us skip the sadness and become happy, and the sadness which has become prominent in our life will be dispelled forever. The sadness of not enjoying what we have achieved and greed to achieve what next is on the list to be achieved is very important. Achievement is important, deadlines are important, everything is important, but enjoying your success is more important. Living for happiness is more important. Literary devices are alliteration, enjambment when the sentence is continuing in the second one. For example, for once we should perhaps a huge silence of threatening ourselves with death. Fourth stanza, the last stanza, very important one. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead, later proves to be alive. Now I'll count to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. What does the poet say? The poet suggests there's thus that take teaching from nature. As the earth undergoes changes winter, what happens? Everything freezes, everything becomes lifeless. But after some time, the season changes and everything comes back to life. Spring has sprung up. Everything is beautiful these days. Lovely, beautiful flowers are grown up. The world has become lovely. How can we not change? Similarly, taking a pause and introspecting our lives, we will give it a new meaning. We will be able to understand the purpose of our life. It will be like rebirth of the soul. Rebirth of the soul. The poet has conveyed all the people the purpose of his message, so he asks them once again to take a pause, count to 12, walks out of the scene, keeps the scene open for the people of the earth to experience this for times to come. Now he has told, I am going, you live happily now. Now, the poet suggests the human beings that we should learn the lesson from the earth during the winters. Everything freezes, becomes lifeless. With spring, everything comes about, sprouts. Difficult times, stop. Go slowly. Good times, live. Come back again. That is what change of season is teaching us. The birds, the rivers, the trees, everything gets life. Here the poet is giving example of nature, and the nature is showing us how we can live with calmness, peace. Finally, he ends up saying that now I am going, you count to 12. He is quiet means calm down ourselves and move towards the peace and harmony. Now he says, I will go. He says so that he has conveyed his message to the people and wants them to be left alone to think about it and work in the direction of peace. Why he wants us to learn? Because we need to live. And he has gone. Why he has gone? He has left us to introspect. Our introspection is important. If we don't introspect within, we will never be able to enjoy. Like the teachers will do to you. They will be teaching you year on. Throughout the year, it will be teaching you line by line everything, every maths, every chemistry, every physics, numerical will be told to you. Everything in history, geography will be taught to you. But end of that year, in the month of February, March, they'll say, all the best kids, now it's up to you to do well in the exams. So that's why the poet has gone. I am going. I hope you've understood it, you've enjoyed it. I hope you are able to understand every nuance of the chapter and clarify all your doubts. Still, you have a doubt, you can contact me. Thank you for listening patiently. Please follow the channel and keep subscribing it. Thank you so much. Bye bye.